Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I try and make some sort of link with the two previous speakers that have come, so I'm hopefully not too tenuous. The first is that I met Henry, and he said in the autumn, and one of the things, and this is empathy, one of the examples that Henry has got in his armory but didn't show today was about how doctors are using AI in order to be able to diagnose people faster. I know Henry showed the phone, but actually, I thought there's a connection there that actually we as an industry potentially could use rapid information to help our customers. So, a great example there. So, want to draw on. The other one is what's my link with Jean-Pascal. 20 years ago, the Sheep Plant Association was invited to go to Bobst in Lausanne. And I was new to the Sheep Plant Association, and it gave me the most fantastic opportunity in my life. I learned to ski. And truly, that's been the most fantastic change in my life, and I am hugely grateful for the opportunity that was given with a really fantastic few days. And I think the opportunity is going to come up soon to be able to go and visit the site. But this, what Jean-Pascal was talking about was fantastic. So, less about that, more about what's happening in the industry. As people said, sorry, and the alert for you, I think a year ago someone said, "Oh, Neil, you are really depressing." So, hi, really depressing again. So this is UK, minus 6.3% in the year. Well, I was just thinking, well, what does this give us? It gives us time and availability and opportunity to take on some of the things that we have heard already and will be hearing, how we embrace new technology. But yeah, a drop down in the first third. It looked like we were maybe coming out of it in the middle bit, and then a pretty depressing fall away, so minus 6.3. But what I wanted to say is please don't be depressed in the UK, because we're depressed everywhere in Europe. So this is the European picture. So you can see that Europe had a jump of 8.5, like everybody did, like we did in the UK, mainly driven by e-commerce, and then a fall away, 5.9% drop away, and then 5.5% drop away in mainland Europe. So we've had, and someone was asking me today, do you think it's just a sort of a leveling out? Well, as you can see, it's plus 8.5, and then cumulatively minus 12.5. So probably not. And if you have a look, it's not just that we've come back in Europe, back to where we were. We've mentioned earlier about the Ukraine crisis, also about e-commerce and the stocking of products that's happening. So e-commerce has dropped away significantly in the marketplace. So you can read all those, and you can read that as indicated. This information is available later on. But let's say, is it us? No. So what's the prediction for the future? I think there's some optimism. I'm going to come to that a bit more. But we do see the downside of Ukraine, the downside of rampant inflation. We do think that the periods of low interest are a thing of the past. We know that people are buying fewer non-FMCG goods, and in fact they're buying more frugally even their food goods, and having smaller baskets of shopping right now. And we'll know that there's been this huge swing with LLDs, limited list discounters, growing hugely. I think I might mention that later on, but I will come back to that. Yes, there are improved global trading conditions, and particularly west of here in America. But we don't see that happening in Europe for some time. And what we used to say is that the corrugated industry was often linked to how GDP was faring, and we now see there being a decoupling of that. We think that things will be in line in the next few years, but there's certainly been a decoupling with corrugated and GDP. To our advantage for the probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, to our disadvantage now. So, is it depressing in all of fibre? Well, this is the folding carton world. You can see that actually folding carton delayed having the impact of the downturn really until last year. And in fact, it was the end of 2022. So folding carton has had a poor time, but not as poor as our own. So anybody who's invested in some folding carton businesses like, That'll be Smurfit then and WestRock joining together. Actually, there's an interesting market and an interesting sector of the fibre industry that we should be looking at and considering. They're faring better than we are in corrugated. So a bit of the summary of all of that. Inflation hitting on high energy bills. Something like 25% of the working population are struggling to cope across Europe. And we hear it in the UK, but actually that's reflected in Europe. The cost of living crisis causing a huge switch to private label and to limited list discounters. And we understand that private label usually is about 25% of the marketplace. It's about 40%. So 40% of boxes being produced now are likely to have limited list discount or a private label print on it. And smaller basket sizes of goods being bought now. And the supply chain is continuing to have difficulty and costs are rising in that as a result of the Ukraine war, as a result of the legacy of energy cost rises. So, what about the slightly more optimistic side of things? Where do I see that? I was having a really interesting conversation earlier today about the Walker's story. So that Walker's pack there, that used to be a flexible packaging that collated 20, 22, 24 packets of crisps. But it's converted to corrugated, to microflute corrugated. And there's some interesting cooperations that happened with people in order to get that. And Smurfit are involved in that. Walker's, as I understand it, their way of judging whether something should be pioneered is on one thing, and that's on greenhouse gas figures. So not necessarily on a commercial side. And as I understand that that's been a great success from a CHG point of view, but I understand, GHG, sorry, but I understand that's been a great success for a number of other operational reasons too. So an unexpected outcome. But if you look here, there's a number of people who are moving back into fibre or moving into fibre. Those Tetley, I used to be the sales representative who sold to Lions Tetley Tea. And I remember our sister company was Field Cartons, and we used to sell those. Somewhere in the last 20, 25, 30 years, those cartons have been replaced by a film. Tetley have gone back to that type of pack. Who else is going back? What changes are in the system at the moment? We know some of them here. And my favourite, and Ian knows, my favourite is this one. This is the iPhone of the corrugated industry, the detergent packs. Anybody's had a go with those? Anybody's been opening and closing this? I'd heard one saying yes. Anybody else had a go with this? This is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. An innovation, and it's Van Genecten, who are a carton company who've got corrugated in their portfolio. They helped to pioneer and invent that. Have a look at them. They're a really amazing company, Van Genecten. But the opportunity for us is in this area. I talked a bit about those previously, but this is the area. Some will know that NOAA, my company, is a market research company, amongst other things, and we are investigating the opportunity of barrier coating materials on top of fibre and where we see those opportunities. And we've had a number of subscribers already to our project. We'll be delivering our results and our findings at the end of May. And anybody who's interested in subscribing, then please do. But we believe that there is at least 1.5 million tonnes worth of opportunity of substitution from plastics. What does that mean? 1.5 million tonnes. Well, the average paper mill is about 500,000 tonnes. So that's 3 huge, average-sized paper mills worth of extra potential, if we can wrestle it out of the hands of the plastics industry. And this is just a fraction of what's available in the plastics industry. So we're not taking all of plastics, we're taking a part of it. But it will take every facility, it will take our ability to be able to tap into our knowledge in our business. And as Henry was saying, AI will help us with that. We've got some amazing designers within our industry. And we've got a pioneering spirit in Europe. We're leading this field around the world. So it's Europe's going to be the place where we'll find out and how we move forward. And we're already moving forward. So this is Unilever, and that pack has gone and moved into a folding carton format already with the banner on here. 93% less plastic. So the brand owners are very keen to advocate what they're achieving. So we should help those brand owners. And this is the area for us, the opportunities in pots, the opportunities in ready meal packs. You'll see a lot of these packs already in the meat industry, but I understand there's quite a few things happening in the meat industry. Small packs, big packs, there's a great opportunity for us. This is just an extract from some market research that we've been doing and continue to do. The growing importance for brand owners is to tackle this. I've just shown you those examples, and there's other examples of many packs moving, the P&G packs, the Walkers packs. And the next stage is this report that we're undertaking. So in the short term, what do we see? We see volume demand is reduced. We've seen that value is being eroded. And we see that profitability is under pressure, and you'll see that with the announcements from the paper mills. But some of the paper mills are minus 20% on volume, so they absolutely need some extra volume coming into their organizations. But in the medium term, corrugated and cartons are highly flexible. The environmental pressures are rising. Consumers recognize that paper's good, and they have a downer on plastics, and it's for us to be able to help satisfy consumer demand, and retailers and brand owners are wanting to find solutions. That's our market research feedback that we've had in the last 6 months. And plastic replacement is a constant and consistent opportunity. So let's go, invent and design. So these are my details, and as I say, if anybody would like to find out more about our multi-client report, please make contact with myself or any of my colleagues. Mandy and Carol are here. Thank you.